So I've been playing a lot of Bloons Legends, a roguelike campaign where you're given random towers to beat random maps before challenging a random boss. And since we're allowed to start with a hero, I've chosen Brickle, who comes with a tier 1 sub and a tier 3 boat as part of her starting crew, while having 2 pools in storage from her default artifact. We're also allowed to start with more artifacts, but only up to a max power of 9. So naturally, I selected the most overpowered boost that carried me in all of my successful mobile runs, a rare corrosive torpedarts, allowing all of our tier 3 and higher subs to coat Bloons in short-lived tier 4 Bloon liquefier glue with every attack, while also adding another sub to the crew. And for the extra 3 power, I chose a pure damage common that makes all magic monkeys deal triple damage against Moabs and ceramics, but at the cost of attacking only half as fast. And with this, the journey begins. The destination? Dread Bloon. Our first step begins with a campfire, which allows us to choose one of 4 options: recruit another member to join our crew, mentor a current member to upgrade its tier, enhance an artifact to the next level, or to heal up our total lives. I felt that the crew was lacking any land-based members, so I chose the boomerang to join if needed. And thus begins our travels. As far as which way to go, both had very promising options, but since I'm a bit lazy, I wanted to choose the path of least resistance. So basically, whichever had the least encounters. My goal was to beat the final boss and extract its essence, allowing us to use its power at the very start of any future adventures. To do this, we'll need to get through the first map, Hedge. My strategy was simple: place a pool in a good spot for the sub, place the sub in a good spot for the track, upgrade the sub to submerge, and let the corrosive torpedarts turn into a corrosive radar to melt away any unwanted rubber, while also placing Brickle to help speedrun the map. The next encounter was on the loop, from rounds 4 to 9. The starting strategy was the same. However, sometimes we're also given an opportunity to pick up a temporary boost that'll last for the rest of the map. Choices are usually another tower or a buff, but sometimes it can have things like pools and tech bots. The next stop was a quick shop. Here we can trade out our artifacts for any others that are listed for sale, but each side must be equal in power cost to successfully trade. We can also trade with the tokens that we get from clearing normal Bloon encounters. However, I didn't have many yet, nor did I have any artifacts to trade out, so I moved on to the end of the road and tested out our boomerang crew member. On the path to the next encounter was another campfire, this time having a job listing for a 210 wizard, a perfect fit for our land-based crew division. I tested both the boat and wizard against the first Moab, but the moment went by a bit too fast for me to note anything specific. It wasn't until going to the middle of the road where I noticed that the sub-reactor hit Bloons with glue much faster, and that the wizard's wall of fire was also being buffed by our magic artifact. And next up was Scrapyard, a perfect place to test the wizard even further by upgrading to Dragon's Breath, causing both the main attack and wall of fire to hit way more balloons much faster. It was here that I bestowed him the name Zuko. And to note, once a tower is placed, you'll have to wait 4 rounds before it can be placed again. As for my next wizard, I did upgrade him into an arcane mastery, but it wasn't anywhere near as powerful as Zuko. But clearing this zone gave us access to a chest where we can choose a permanent artifact. And since we'll be dealing with stronger Bloons very soon, I chose Frosted Tips that allows Dart Monkeys to slow Bloons while adding another crew member. As for the final shop on the stage, I used 12 tokens to get the Fata Morgana common that adds a buck more monkey to the crew, and the Dream Team common that boosts attack speed, cooldowns, and the range of all subs and wizards. A perfect fit for our current strategy. But now, it was time for the final trial of our travels. It was time to take on Dread Bloon. This time, we're given a beautiful 24,000 money to splash on our starting setup. So I went for the regular sub and Brickle combo for Bloon control, while using the extra funds to upgrade Zuko's firebending to take the form of a phoenix. I also placed a mermonkey to test its resolve against our greatest trial, Dread Bloon. And just as his outer shell looks, Dread Bloon is a very slow boss Bloon that will create a rocky armor around himself with the qualities of a ceramic Bloon. He is also a student of Maharaga and will adapt to tower types, cycling through immunities with each passing phase. As the rock armor was being shredded away, I used the extra income to recruit another fire wizard and a local pirate. But once the rock armor was burned off, the boss's exposed skin took on the properties of a lead Bloon, which can easily be damaged by all of our main crew. And as we started approaching the next phase, I began to send out other types of categories to make sure the immunities won't become a larger problem. At the start of the next phase, I chose a quickening common for all towers to attack and cool down faster. But now, Haraga Jr. has adapted to military towers. It wasn't much of a problem since most of our damage was from magic, but the boss also began to summon allies of its own, rocky abominations that have been hardened from battle, and now taunt all towers to interrupt their targeting priority. And unfortunately, their strategy was actually working. However, Zuko managed to channel his deeper connection with the elements to summon a phoenix and clear it all up. With the rock layer gone, so did the rock Bloons, and so was our time before he would adapt to our main damage dealers. So I added another pirate and bionicle to our ranks, as our magic towers were now powerless against the main threat. And although the health bar was going down, it was going down very slow, and I started to get a bit worried. However, in times of peril is where heroes shine brightest, as Brickle can now launch massive mines for massive damage, clearing up any rock bloons along the way. The second pool was taken out of storage to set up another pirate cove closer to the boss, but the project was soon halted as our hero launched another mine into the next phase. For the boost choice, I chose another portable lake, but Dread Bloon now adapted to support towers. A terrible mistake that would prove fatal, as now all of the armada began to dethrone the Rocky King. With the final trial now complete, we now had an opportunity to add a 5th tier pirate captain to our crew. A very promising choice, but my objective was always the essence of Dread Bloon, a legendary artifact that allows all towers to count as all categories, meaning that our magic damage artifact would now affect every other tower type as well. In addition to our selection, we also have the chance to extract any artifact that we don't have yet. This would allow us to choose the artifact at the start of an adventure, just like how we did for the corrosive torpedo darts and the magic damage. However, when we extract, we will no longer have it for the rest of our campaign. Therefore, with our chosen artifact selected, it was now time to extract. In total, we beat 6 Bloon encounters, earned 4 artifacts, spent 12 tokens, chose 14 boosts, and never lost any lives over a 43-minute stage. But even though we achieved our goal, there is still much more to explore and much more loot to gather. However, great rewards cannot be achieved without greater risk, and there is still a very dark, very inflatable reality that lies ahead. But for now, we can rest.